for record purposes, is still a serving police officer. He has not been interdicted. He has not been suspended. He's still on duty. Number two, we file a petition, directions seeking to stop the plea taking on grounds that this is an NGO fundraising activity. We serve, and we have given a copy to the media where IPOA received a petition where the state, that's the Director of Public Prosecution, received, and the stamp is there for the Kenyans to see. Surprisingly, in court, they say they have never been served. Third, as I indicated, we raised very fundamental issues within that petition. One, the author of that video. Two, the video itself. Three, the camera that took that video. Four, the ballistic report of the bullets and the gun that was used to kill the two boys. Fifth, the identification parade that was done to bring into a conclusion that these boys were actually shot by one Sergeant Rashid. Fifth, we raised the question of us being given the evidence through that petition. The state has never complied. They thought that plea will be taken before that has been resolved. And we pushed hard, and the judge agreed that our petition must be heard on 8th before the plea is taken on 9th. We are very definite that once the state responds without any evidence, the judge will agree with us that there is no basis at all for one Sergeant Rashid to take plea. We shall also produce to the public, to the Kenyans, the type of evidence that IPOA has to have made that decision to charge our client. I have repeated several that Rashid to the civil society and to IPOA will determine whether the donors, the donor funders, will continue funding. That is the pressure that the donors, the civil society is pushing. And that is the reason as to why when they appeared before the court, they were chased. Because they are busybodies, if I may quote the Inspector General of Police, in this matter. Our client is a law-abiding citizen. The narrative that he will disappear, he'll never appear in court, has been put properly to perspective. That when I gave an undertaking that our client will appear, he has never killed anybody wrongly. He's very innocent. And we expect that by 8th, when we shall be in court, because they have no evidence against Rashid, the court will not proceed to Rashid taking the plea. This also brings the question on the role of the National Police Service, which is under attack by officers, by civil society, who are making the work of the police completely impossible and exposing citizens to the risks of thugs. Rashid's prosecution is actually defending and glorifying criminals at the expense of citizens of this country. And we shall be raising those issues on the 8th, because we've never been given the evidence they are relying on. Nobody in this country has evidence they are relying on. So we expect now that evidence, because the judge has agreed with us, we shall completely destroy that evidence and allow Corporal Sergeant Rashid to continue doing their job. The country is at a crossroad because now we have taken the role, we have taken a position as a country to criminalize police work, to make it so hard for them to provide security for citizens, at the glorification of the civil society who are receiving billions of money by how many police officers they have arrested. And as I said the other time, the annual report filed by POA for the last 12 years, that is from 2012 to date, their conviction of police officers, only 13 officers have been convicted, and on a question of firearm, only 6 have been convicted. Yet the budget allocated to IPOA for that duration is over 5 billion shillings. Leave alone the trillions of amounts of money that they are receiving from donors. We urge, as we move forward, we also file a petition to the head of state. We expect before 8, the head of state would have responded to us over the question of exposing Kenyans to the risk of civil society. As we said, it's not the first time the civil society took the former head of state, retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the current head of state, Dr. William Ruto, to the ICC, and it was dismissed as hot air. We equally believe that it is hot air when they will fail to produce evidence they are relying on. Lastly, we raised this question, and I'm raising it again. If these people were shot by a police officer at the custody of the police officer, then the better procedure to follow is refer this matter to an inquest. We have also written a letter to the Director of Public Prosecution explaining those circumstances and seeking the Director of Public Prosecution to recall this file and reconsider referring this matter to a public inquest so that people can give evidence of what they know of who killed the boys and what were the circumstances of the killing of the boy. That is it. Oh, sorry. We have received instructions from Rashid just now to sue an entity called Independent Medical Legal Unit, IMLU, on its official website. They have disclosed the ID of our client, which is a serious affront to the freedom and the right of privacy in terms of ID numbers and the ID of our client. And we shall be moving to court in the next 2 hours to sue, because we are definitely showing that the civil society is in the process of, it is actually fundraising. It is unlawful. It is unconstitutional. It is not acceptable to publish an ID and an ID number of a person in the public without his consent. So we will be moving to court, and we shall serve a demand letter in the next 2 hours to sue the civil society, because they are in the process of making money out of roaming pressure at the expense of his security and security everywhere. Thank you.
On behalf of the members of EASTLEIGH and the society in EASTLEIGh, we are shocked to hear about the denial that the IPOA and the OPP had shown in the court today. The petition that we had applied through our lawyers and we were given to respond. Today they have ignored that they were served a legal notice or a petition that we have petitioned on behalf of Officer Ahmed Rashid. We see his right is going to be relayed, and we see the angle that the NGOs and other international communities take. But as a society, we are still behind our officer Ahmed Rashid. He has done nothing. He's not a criminal, and he should not be hanged like an elephant in the bush. He's an officer who is doing his job. He's doing his job legally in the rules of law of Kenya as an officer in the capital of Kenya, and we ask the government to protect his rights as an officer, as a good citizen of this country, and we will stand as a society with our lawyers, and we will stand with our Rashid until the end, and we will stand with him forever. Thank you so much.
Ahmed Rashid is supposed to appear for purpose of taking plea. However, some factors emanated in that Ahmed Rashid is out of the court's jurisdiction, that is in Garissa, and that he had not been subjected to a mental examination. For those reasons, the court deferred the taking from today to the 9th of February 2023. On the sideline, we had filed a petition and an application under certificate of urgency on the 29th of November 2022. The court had had an opportunity of expressing itself and issuing directions with regard to that specific petition, in which we are seeking to stop the prosecution, arraignment, and taking plea of Ahmed Rashid. Considering the kind of bail we are seeking in that particular petition, the court has directed that we serve all the parties that were involved, that is the IG, IPOA, and ODPP, so that we can appear before the court on the 8th of February. That's a day before the date meant for plea taking, for purpose of taking directions, so that the court can hear from both parties and give further directions on if indeed we shall be proceeding with the plea taking on the 9th, the day that shall be coming after the 8th. Further, there were attempts by NGOs to come on board in the said petition and this proceeding, but the court was hesitant to admit them, as it said that, as it directed that OMARI and other NGOs need to file a formal application so that the court can, so that we can respond, and the court gets to make a determination on if these NGOs indeed have any identifiable stake on what is before court, before allowing them to participate, so that we don't have spectators who will be derailing the court process. That's what was heard when we appeared before judge.